Hey there, it's your best friend Edward right here! Many of you have known me as a reptile keeper or someone who screams at snakes, I don't know. Hey, that's our co-host today. Her name is Shady. She's a GHI Mojave Calico Pastel Bow Python. What a mouthful. But not many of you know that I actually have a master's degree in financial engineering. So today, I'm here to try to teach you how to evaluate any snake. I will use techniques we use when we're evaluating stocks, options, futures, all that kind of stuff to teach you how to evaluate not only a snake, but almost everything. So if you're a fan of math, buckle up. Here we go. Disclaimer.
Of course, I can't teach you a really complicated model in one video, so today we are going to ignore a few components in such a model.
First thing first, evaluating a snake doesn't mean that you look at it just like a merch. It is still an animal, a piece of life. I'm doing this only to show you a way to look at the money you're spending. Right? So let's say you're trying to evaluate a snake. For example, a blue-eye leucistic, and you're trying to breed it. So you bought a pair of blue-eye leucistics, and considering their production lifespan, so you decided to breed them for 10 years. And at the 10-year point, you will sell every snake you produced in that project. Hey, you're ahead of me. So you bought a pair of blue-eye leucistic ball pythons, and they're ready to breed. Every pair of ball pythons would have 6 eggs on average. And out of the 6 eggs, half of them would be male and half of them would be female, according to probabilities. So that will be 3 pairs of more blue-eye leucistics you would get, because you will get nothing but blue-eye leucistics if you breed 2 blue-eye leucistics. This will make the model much easier to calculate. So now you're on year 2 and you have 3 pairs of 0 years old blue-eye leucistics and 1 pair of now 3 years old blue-eye leucistics, which is the old parent last year, which are just 2 years old last year, and now they're 3 years old. So on year 3, you will have 3 pairs of 0 years old blue-eye leucistics and 3 pairs of 1 years old, and of course, 1 pair of 4 years old. Now you're going to year 4. On year 4, again, you're breeding the 4-year-old pair. So you will have 3 pairs of 0 years old, 3 pairs of 1 years old, and 3 pairs of 2 years old, which these pairs would be able to breed this year, so next year they will contribute to your production. And now on year 5, because on year 4 you actually have 4 pairs of breedable ball pythons. Breedable, is that even a word? Anyway, 4 pairs of breedable ball pythons, so you will actually have 12 pairs of 0 years old on year 5, because each pair would produce 3 more pairs, like I mentioned, and you will still have 3 pairs of 1 years old, 3 pairs of 2 years old, 3 pairs of 3 years old, and 1 pair of 6 years old. So if you look at the snake you have at this point, you have 3 more pairs that is breedable, which in total would give you 7 pairs of breedable ball pythons. That means in year 6, you would produce 21 pairs of 0 years old blue-eye leucistics. So on year 6, you have 21 pairs of 0 years old, 12 pairs of 1 years old, 3 pairs of 2 years old, 3 pairs of 3 years old, 3 pairs of 4 years old. And if you keep continuing this process, where you breed the breedable ball pythons and you keep every snake you have until year 9, your initial pair of blue-eye leucistics would be 10 years old. Although they might be able to still produce for you, let's say your initial plan is to stop at this point and you're selling everything at year 9. Some of you might think, hey, I can keep the newer babies and make them keep breeding. Well, you can, but we are discounting some factors here to keep the model simple. For one, we're not calculating the risk of inbreeding. See, all the snakes you're breeding here are inbreeds. That's a risk. Secondly, we are not incorporating inflation rates. For most company projects, they will take their value to a perpetual, infinite time. But if you just take your project and the project will give you revenue every year, so for the rest of time, it will give you an infinite amount of value. But that is not true because there's inflation rate and the value of your project will depreciate. And because we're not calculating the inflation rate, nor are we calculating the depreciation, that's for accounting class. At year 9, you will have 268 pairs of blue-eye leucistics. Just look at this. At year 1, you have 1 pair. But at year 9, you actually have more than 500 snakes. Would you say that at year 1, the value of 1 pair of blue-eye leucistics is actually equal to having 268 pairs of blue-eye leucistics at year 9? Of course not, but they actually represent the same thing, only in different times, right? Year 0 and year 9. So what needs to be deducted through this process? The deduction we need to do here is for cost. To keep a snake, you would have to spend money on enclosure, food, electricity, water. If you want to sell the snakes, you would even need to incorporate advertisement, all those kind of stuff. They come into an umbrella term of cost. So let's say at year 9, you will have to take care of 268. On year 8, it will be 139. On year 7, it would be 73. And all the way to year 1, throughout these 9 years, you will have to be taking care of 567 snakes. You're saying, hey Edward, that's not right. I never had 567 pairs. But you have to remember, 1 pair at the first year, you will have to take care of it for 9 years. So every year you have to calculate the sum of them. And the sum is 567 pairs. So if for this project you are not making any money, that means these 268 pairs of ball pythons have to equal to the 567 portions of costs. That makes sense? So if you move this equation around, you can see that the price of your snake should be 2.12 times of your cost. So let's say for 1 year, your cost to keep 1 snake is around $100. Then the lowest price you could go for this snake would be $212. And anything above that price would be your revenue. But anything below that price would be your loss. So you could roughly take this and to choose what snake you want to breed. If the snake doesn't really sell for above your cost times 2.12, then it's not really a good investment. Make sense? I hope it does. But you say, hey Edward, you're just breeding 2 same snakes together. What about I mix this, I mix that? Of course we could do that. But that would incorporate much more probabilities, and I think some of the small brain audiences wouldn't get it. So if you want to see more of these mathematical episodes, comment down below. Like and share and subscribe if you learned anything. And again, remember, these are animals. They are alive, not just stocks. Hope you have a nice one, and I will see you next time!